So who do I have here today now?
Dave Blanchard.
Dave Blanchard.
Yep.
And Dave, what's this place we got here now?
Okay, this right now it's the Ellershouse Community Hall, but it was originally built by Ellershouse back in 18 something as a schoolhouse. This
Okay.
was the original schoolhouse they had here in the community. But then the old community hall used to be up by the cemetery. And then it burnt down, and then when they rebuilt up there, they rebuilt a new schoolhouse up there. And this was turned over, basically, it was sold to it was a temperance society, and they took it over. And then later on, when they actually didn't have the use for it they had then or something, it was for $1, it was transferred over to the community to be used as a hall.
So,
And,
so there was a book out about there was a murder here.
yep, there was a murder here way back around 1906. And in this building here, this is where the coroner's inquest was held.
Okay.
Was here. And I think the coroner at the time, I was told, was Dr. Kitty
Okay.
from Windsor. And so this is where his inquest was held. And once they decided from that inquest here that yes, it was a murder of Freeman Harvey was murdered in his house down at the end of the Ellershouse Road, down where you come up with the old number 1, is where the area of that was. The guy that did the murdering, he had 2 or 3 names. He was an Irishman, I guess, but his name was Stanley. He went by the name of Ryan, and I think there's a couple other names he used too. And there is a book out. I just forget the name of the book now.
Yeah, it's just been released here in the last year, I think.
Yeah. And it is a nice story. It is not, as the writer states in it, there is some fiction in it. But a lot of the names that are mentioned in it are local names that are still here.
Ellershouse names.
That are still here in the community. They're still their relatives. You can trace some of those names back that are still here in the community.
You can read the book and you can learn about all these stories, but
Oh,
I basically tell them in 4 minutes. So this guy, he moved in with the guy, kind of spent a few nights there.
Well,
and
he was supposedly going to buy the farm from him
Okay.
and everything, but I guess he ended up cutting his head off.
Yeah.
They found the body in one place and they found the head in another place. The body was underneath in the potato bin, and they finally caught the guy that did the killing. They caught him in the woods a short time after.
Yeah.
And as I said, they had the inquest here, and then everything moved into Windsor, where they had the other inquest and whatnot. They had the trial in there, and basically he was the last person that was hung in East Hand or West Hand.
West Hand's the last one.
And which would have been, I'm not sure the date of the hanging, but the murder took place around 1906.
Yeah.
And
And he's buried here in the graveyard right now.
no, he's not.
Sorry, the guy that was murdered.
He's buried in the cemetery in Windsor. I think it's at the Catholic cemetery in Windsor, in an unmarked grave, I think.
Yeah.
And Freeman Harvey, he is buried in the cemetery here in Ellershouse.
Yeah. And then you were telling me that And he was the one that actually cleared the land and
Well,
prepared that cemetery.
Back in the 1900s, when the church and the cemetery was deeded over to the community, Freeman Harvey did a lot of the work in the cemetery with his oxen, with clearing out stumps and clearing land there.
Yeah.
And that would have been around, early 1900s.
Yeah.
And but he was a resident here. He lived out in the end of the road. But that's about the part. And now here in the hall here, which we use it, it's pretty well used and everything. Well, they have breakfast here every month.
I've been here.
You've been here.
I've been here.
Yeah,
It's a good breakfast. It's the last Saturday
of each month.
Of each month,
Except December.
except for the month of December.
And actually, this was the breakfast bit was really started, I'm going to say about 12 years ago anyways, maybe longer, by the church. And then a lot of us started getting pretty old and whatnot, so a new bunch took over that are running it now. And they use their proceeds for different community projects and give out, charitable bit from it. And they get a fairly good turnout. They've got a pretty good name. They serve pretty good food.
They do.
And,
I was going to come here. It was just too cold last Saturday, so now I got to wait.
I think
Yeah,
I think they had around 125 last
Really?
Saturday, something
Really?
like that. And,
Yeah.
but it all works out.
Let's go for a drive and see what some of these houses along this community area.
Okay then. Yep.
Yeah, the breakfast is worth coming to, that's for sure. March 25th is the next one.
Be there or be square.
Right.